We had a 10-year-old son and a 7-year-old girl when a friend of my husband's said to me, "Your boobs are looking a bit big." And I said, "Oh, you cheeky thing." And sure enough, he was right. I went home and found out I was pregnant. Well, Caroline, as the name was then, was born. My husband said, "We'll call her Caroline after Caroline Jones because she might be intelligent." And she was always a loving child, loving and cuddly, full of joy, a real free spirit. She was always searching for something. A couple of ladies in the neighbourhood were having babies, and she used to walk around the streets with a pillow up her tummy. And we thought, oh, this girl's going to be pregnant before she's 16.
We'd been waiting around his bed. He seemed to be taking a long time to die. And then he stopped breathing. And everybody was crying around the body. But I went outside and I just felt that my father was not there, that he was part of the night, part of the sky. He'd become something much more infinite. But I also felt incredibly alone in a very big world.
She was always very gentle and loving with him, but he was that type of man too. Very kind, very good. And then, of course, when he died, I think her whole world fell to pieces, really. I think she thought, oh, God, it's going to be left with me. Because he used to read to her. And every night he'd read her a story. And, so when he died, it was the first day she was starting year 9. She had been doing so well the first 2 years at school, at high school. But that year, by the time August came and I got to the school, the teachers said to me, "Oh, we're very worried about her." And then I changed her into a Rudolf Steiner school. She went there for a term. She liked it, but she wouldn't go back the following year, so she just left school and just wandered around all over Australia for years. I don't know how many years, 3 maybe. I was extremely worried. Yeah, what would you be worried? 15 and a half, just walk out. But all the trauma she went through, all the trauma I went through, it was unbelievable, really. And she rang from Perth one day and said, "You're not going to like this." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Because I'm going to India." And I said, "What did Centrelink say?" And she said, "They said to have a good trip." I thought, great.
In the darkness of existence, I found a light. In the heart of pain, I found something bright. In the life of beings, there is much pain and despair. In the life of beings, there is that which is fair. Stumbling through things, confusion at an end, all that was frost is now born again. In the soul's ascent to the promised land, I leave no directions, only a hand. Help that I may bring all beings to peace, bring them to deathless, lasting release. Initially painful, blissful at last. This is the path that leads to the vast.
She always kept telling everyone, even when she was at acting school, she was going to be a nun. And I said, "Well, why? What am I paying for acting lessons for if you're going to be a nun? You shouldn't be telling people that when you've got an agent. You're telling the agent you're going to be a nun." But I'm glad she's a nun.
Many of us, our hearts are in a kind of deep freeze. We don't know who we really are, why we're really here. And perhaps we're afraid to dive inside. But if you do look inside yourself and try and embody what you most deeply value, there is a tremendous hope and inspiration that can spring forth from that, like a new season, like a spring of the heart, if you like. Many insights can blossom in that.
If there is a God and you've been a good person, well, that's all that matters, isn't it, really? That's what I think. And if there isn't a God and you've been a good person, still the same difference, isn't it, really? And I mean, I don't think God, if he's a loving God, it's really about love. I think it's all about love, really. If he's a loving God, he's going to understand. I'm learning. I'm in progress. What do you call it? I don't know. I'm a Buddha in training. Maybe I won't make it. I don't know. I do the best I can, but it's not good enough. Yeah, anyhow.
Swami